What's up, y'all? This is Hammer here again, back with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the Jonathan Major situation, which is very interesting because this situation literally happened right after my live stream. Because for those who may not know, I did a live stream, I think last night, in regards to the Just Pearly things and her being exposed as a racist. So y'all go check that out. But all of this ties back to what I've been saying, which is that a lot of black men out here, right, have been pedestalizing, and I've been seeing this not just in the black manosphere space. I've been seeing this in Hollywood. I've been seeing this, right? They've been pedestalizing non-black women, right? And it's getting to a point where it's almost becoming dangerous. Look, I'm not saying that black dudes can't have conversations about the issues they have with their own community, right? But what I'm saying is, it should never get to a point where you are bringing in women from other communities to talk about your internal issues. It should never get to a point where you're pedestalizing other groups of women over your own. It should never get to a point where you start carrying white supremacist ideology just to justify you being with another race of women. Because at the end of the day, right, those group of people will never see you as their own. And as soon as you start to slip, they will check you. They will remind you, hey, you are not one of us, right? And you will get that black treatment real quick. And so what I want to talk about today is the situation with Jonathan Majors, right? For those of you that know, Jonathan Majors is a very popular black actor. He essentially was cast to play Kang the Conqueror for the Marvel Universe. He's become very popular. He's also, I think, had a major role in Creed 3. And of course, there was controversy because apparently, he was dating a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman, right? And of course, when this came out, black women, of course, were naturally angry, and black men were defending and saying, "Why does it matter?" My opinion on that situation was that, look, the reason why I don't support black men, and I say this as a black male, right? I don't support black men dating black white women, and even dating out. It's because there's too much of a risk associated with that. The United States has a long history of weaponizing non-black women, especially white women, to go at black men. I'm like, the woman who accused Emmett Till is still alive and is still free. She's still alive. So it's like, for a black dude as a black man, for you to even put yourself in that position, to me, is dangerous. Because whenever the white society or these non-black groups want to go after you, all they have to do is use the non-black female on your arm and weaponize her against you. Okay? Now, folks are going to say in the chat, well, Hammer, what about black? Look, yes, is it possible for them to use black women against black men? Yes, but once again, right? But once again, black women do not have the same privileges that white women do. It's not even close. They can't utilize the system the way white women can. So it's not like that. For me, that's a mute point on itself. In fact, even within feminism, right, white women are the ones getting all the benefits in that. Even when it comes to affirmative action, white women get the most out of that. So we're not going to sit here and pretend as if it is the same when it's not. And one thing I get angry is that instead of black men talking about, issues within the community and within the black diaspora and keeping it there, what they want to do is pedestalize non-black women, bring other women to the conversation, and then get mad when they get, the black treatment. But anyway, before I get into the video, let's get into our intro. So the controversy that's happening right now is that essentially Jonathan Majors, right, was essentially in a cab, right, with his white girlfriend. And according to reports, right, she saw him texting another woman. She thought he was cheating on her. She tried to take a look, and based on what she alleges, right, Jonathan Majors got mad, held her hand, slapped her, choked her. And then she went home, and then the next morning she called the police saying that she was, she was assaulted by her boyfriend Jonathan Majors. They came in there and they arrested him. Now, according to reports, he just got recently released, and now he could potentially face assault charges. And you already have companies pulling, like cutting with him, right? You already have companies that are cutting ties with him. In fact, recently there was an ad that was supposed to air with him in it. They just dropped it. Cut him off. So what I'm saying here is this, right? This dude got with a white female, right? Apparently there was an altercation, right? We don't know what exactly happened. The white female went home. She waited until the next morning to call the cops, said she was assaulted, right? There isn't any real evidence, the only thing we have is this white woman's word, right? There isn't any real evidence to corroborate what she's saying. But just off this white woman's word, they were arrested on the majors, right? He's been released, but now they're saying he could potentially face assault charges. All based on her word. Come on, let's get into it.
An actor Jonathan Majors is arrested in New York City, accused of assault. Police say Majors, the star of Creed 3 and other famous films, was involved in a domestic dispute with a woman. Officers were called to an apartment.
A white woman. Don't say like it is. Don't beat around the bush. A white woman. And that matters, right? Because once again, there is a long history in the United States, a long history out in the Black diaspora, right, of people, of essentially the white community, of people weaponizing white women against Black men, of white women making false allegations against Black men. Okay, think of Emmett Till. The woman who falsely accused Emmett Till is still alive and is still free. And the people who are fighting to get her, to hold her accountable, it's not white women. It's Black women. It's his Black relatives. It's Emmett Till's Black relatives. The Black female relatives are the ones fighting for this dude, even now. And so when I tell folks I don't really support Black men out here with non-Black women, it has nothing to do with them. It's about really Black men's interest. Look, it's too, bro, there's too much risks associated as a Black dude to be out here like this. Because all of these non-Black communities, they have every reason to check you. They have every reason to undermine you, right? And they will have no problem using non-Black women who are really their women. They have no problem using their women to weaponize against you. Now, can they use Black women? Yes, but once again, it's not the same. Let's be honest here. They already recognize that Black women do not have the same privileges, the same beauty standards a white woman does, or non-Black woman does. So it'll be much more difficult to do that with a Black woman compared with a white woman. And so now Jonathan Majors, literally, just because he got with his white chick, could potentially face assault. Now here's the thing. Jonathan Majors is saying he's innocent. Okay? Him and his representatives are saying he's innocent. And to be honest with you, I believe him. I believe he's innocent. But guess what, Jonathan? That doesn't matter. Okay? Because all the media, all the society's going to see is a big Black dude and a white female. That's all they're going to see. And so they're immediately going to side with her. And now you're in a situation where you could potentially face assault charges just because you couldn't keep your dick out of the white chick. But to make it even worse, this is what makes it worse, y'all, right? It's not just that this white woman waited until the next morning. And by the way, what this tells me is that the reason why she waited is because she wanted to see if Jonathan Major was still with her. And I think by the time she woke up the next morning, once she realized that Jonathan Majors was no longer, was really not going to be with her anymore, then she quote unquote said, okay, fine. You want to listen to me? Fine. She had no problem using her white privilege. She called the cops quick. The same thing is happening to Tiger Woods, right? His ex-white girlfriend is suing him. I keep seeing this pattern. Black dudes who can't keep their hands off of non-Black women, right? And then when these non-Black women get tired or they feel like they're not getting what they want, they will turn around and weaponize their privilege against you. And you're the one looking stupid. I am tired of seeing Black men being taken down because they can't keep their hands off white females. Because they can't keep their dick out of white females. It's getting annoying. But here's what makes me so mad, right? Here's what gets me so mad. After this white female came out with these allegations, right? It's just her words, right? Just her words. You had a bunch of white. This what makes it right. This what makes it worse. After this white woman came out with the allegations, right? You had a bunch of white people, right, who came out and said, "Oh well, you know, Jonathan Majors has had a history of being abusive. Jonathan Majors has always been abusive." And I'm just like, what? And I'm like, wait a minute. Throughout this entire time, when Jonathan Majors was, you know, being casted as Kang, when Jonathan Major was being casted as Creed, when Jonathan Major was blowing up in Hollywood, you guys had nothing to say. But as soon as a white female, you know, his ex white girlfriend, right, accuses him of assault, now you got all these white folks coming out the woodwork saying that, oh, he's always been abusive. What? So it's not just the white girl anymore, right? You now have a bunch of white people who apparently are coming out now saying that Jonathan Majors has a history of being abusive, saying that Jonathan Majors has a history of putting his hands on white women. Black manosphere. I want y'all to pay attention how uncold white dudes are. These white guys will complain about white feminism. They will complain about white women 24/7. But as soon as you guys put any hands on a white chick, they have no problem being uncold. Now you got all these white dudes out of nowhere coming out of the woodwork saying, yeah, you know, he's always been abusive. But here's what makes it even worse, right? When you go on YouTube, right, for those who don't know, there is right now an online white male geek community, right? An online white male geek community, right? For example, people like The Quartering, right? People like that, right? Clownfish TV. So there's an entire, you know, essentially community on YouTube of white men who are quote unquote anti-woke, right? Anti-feminist, right? These dudes complain all the time about white feminism. These white dudes complain all the time about Me Too, right? So they've been railing against Me Too, railing against feminism, which is fine, right? But think about this. I just went and checked their channels, right? The same white dudes that were complaining about Me Too, complaining about, you know, women making sexual salaries, right? They're now behind the white chick. The same white male community on YouTube that have been complaining, that have been fighting against the Me Too, they are now supporting this white woman in her sexual assault allegations against Jonathan Majors. They're calling him the N-word. They're talking about, oh, you know, she's a mud shark. I'm like, it's like, but see, that's what I'm talking about. These white men, right? Everybody knows that they have issues with white women. They have issues with quote unquote white feminism. But guess what? As much as they complain about their women, they're always on code when it comes to their community. They're never going to allow another group of men, another group of women to disparage their own community. Even though they talk all kinds of shit about white women, if you talk about white women, they'll check you. And they'll turn, in other words, they'll be against Me Too when it comes to white men, but when it comes to a white woman accusing a black dude, oh, now they become pro Me Too. Now they're all for Me Too. Now they have no problem dragging you through the mud. Even if Jonathan Majors, right, is able to escape any kind of legal repercussions, guess what? His name is now dragged through the mud. Because all they got to do is say, hey, big black guy assaulted skinny, petite white girl. That's it. All across Hollywood, all across the white media, he's going to get blackballed. Right? I mean, just recently, like, right, you're already starting to see ads pulling Jonathan Majors. They're already cutting ties with him. Already. All because you're going to keep your dick out of a white woman. It's and by the way, before somebody said it, right, the same thing applies to black women too, right? This is not just black men. The same thing applies to black women too. If you're a black female and you're out here chasing white dudes, okay, and you end up in a situation where a white guy is racially abusing you, that's your fault. You shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with, knowing the history of white men. So it's like, This applies to both sides. But the problem is that black men have been much more vocal about it, though. Let's be honest here. And this kind, and also funny, this reminds me of a situation in which you had Kevin Samuels. For those who may not know, Kevin Samuels was a popular black male YouTuber, right? Kevin Samuels went on Fresh and Fit, and he essentially checked a white woman, right? The white men on the panel were so mad, they were roasting Kevin Samuels. This is what the problem I have with the black manosphere, right? If you guys have your issues with black women, fine, right? But the problem is that it should never get to a point where you allow non-black people to openly disparage your women. It should never get to a point where you're bringing in non-black women into your group and pedestalizing them over your women. Whatever issues you have with black women, that is something we need to deal with behind closed doors, amongst the black community. But we should never be in a situation where actively pedestalizing white women. We should never be in a situation where actively allowing non-black people to attack our group of women, our female counterparts. Yeah, I can talk about black women, but guess what? You can do that. That needs to be the model. Yeah, as a black man, I can talk about them because they're my women. But as a white dude, as a white female, as someone who's non-black, yeah, you're not going to be able to talk about my women. You're not. Because at the end of the day, they're still a part of my community. They're still my female counterpart. I can't talk about them. I can recommend. I can do that, right? Because, they're my female counterpart. But I'm not going to allow any other non-black group to openly disrespect my female counterpart. That needs to be the model. And what Jonathan Major is starting to find out is that that's how other groups of men operate. White men will disparage white feminists all the time. But as soon as you talk about their women, you'll get checked. As soon as you put the hell on they will complain about Me Too. But as soon as you touch their women, they'll weaponize Me Too against you. But let's keep going.
This morning in Chelsea, police say the woman had injuries to her neck and head and was taken to the hospital. Majors is out of custody tonight, facing charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment. His spokesperson told us, quote, he has done nothing wrong, and we look forward to clearing his name and clearing this up.
Yep. But I want to do something really quickly, right? I want y'all to compare this situation to Dana White. For those who may not know, Dana White essentially is a leader. I think the CEO or chairman of the UFC. Y'all can tell me in the chat. But based on what I know, he's the CEO or chairman of the UFC. A couple of months ago, you had a video of Dana White. He's a white dude, right? He was literally openly beating his white wife. Okay? Open domestic violence. When this video got popular, right, you literally had media, all the media stations were defending him. You literally had ESPN. ESPN told their employees, hey, don't write about Dana White. The entire media infrastructure defended this dude. He got no repercussions. Jonathan Majors gets an accusation. There's no video. There's no proof. He gets an accusation and he gets arrested, right? You did not have companies cutting ties with him, right? He's being dragged to the mud of the media. And apparently now he could potentially be blackballed. But Dana White, a white dude, he openly assaults his white wife on video, right? The media defends him, right? He does not get canceled. He does not get arrested, right? He's allowed to essentially live his life as if nothing ever happened. This is what I'm talking about. But I want to play the video so y'all can see. So yeah, his wife's still in third, but I want you to see what happens next. Now, the reason is because this is what I mean when I say I don't believe in black men chasing non-black women. This literally just happened. These two events happened months from each other. White dude openly assaults white wife publicly. The entire media defends him, right? ESPN tells the writers do not. They literally tell the writers don't talk about the Dana White. He gets complete protection, and he's allowed to essentially move on without facing any kind of backlash or any kind of cancellation. You literally had people on ESPN saying, "Well, I don't believe in cancel culture." What? But when it comes to Jonathan Majors, all it took was for a white woman to make an allegation. There's no video. There's no real proof. All it took was for an allegation. He's already being canceled. So y'all can look. If you want to chase Becky, if y'all want to get mad, go ahead. My thing is, don't turn around and complain and then cry, right? When you get your quote unquote black treatment. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there. Y'all tell me in the chat what you guys think. Do you agree or disagree? With that being said, like, share, subscribe, hammer out.